When we're lifting a heavy object off the floor, we want to make sure we get nice and close to the object, and then we want to ensure that we're bending at our knees and at our hips. We don't want to bend over at our back because our back muscles here can't necessarily carry that load, and the muscles there aren't necessarily strong enough to help us prevent injury when we're lifting. So we want to bend at our knees and at our hips, and then we're just going to lower our bottom down, kind of like we're doing a squat or a deadlift from the ground, and then you're going to take the object, keep it close to your body, try to keep your head pointed up to keep a neutral spine, and then you'll lift, pushing with your legs down into the ground to pick up the object. So the key is you don't want to pick up the object like this because we're lifting directly from our back, which can cause issues with our lumbar discs and some of the ligaments in that area. And we want to ensure that we're using our powerful muscles in our hips by bending down at our hips and our knees, keeping that object close and lifting up just like that, and ensuring we have a neutral spine. So if you have a lighter object that you're picking up from the ground, you don't necessarily have to do all of that. You can do a more simple approach. It's called the golfer lift. So with this, you can place one foot forward from the other, and then when you're lifting the object, you're gonna bring this leg back. So it's almost gonna be a straight line between your shoulder, hip, and your ankle. So you're gonna have a straight back, you're gonna lift the object and come back. So this is hinging at our hip instead of our low back, because we don't wanna pick up the object like this, because that's gonna cause a lot of strain on our low back as well. Or even if we're just lifting like this and not lifting our leg up, you can see how much bend I'm having in my low back here. So we wanna ensure we're lifting with our leg and coming back up. It's sort of like a Romanian deadlift if you're familiar with the gym. It's just like that kind of an exercise where you're lifting that object and you're bringing your leg back. So that's a great strategy for lifting a light object. You can also do that if this object's like up on a shelf and it's really tough to reach. You can do the same thing. So you can kind of kick that leg back and reach for that object, kick back and reach. So same idea, we don't wanna be bending at our back, because if we're bending at our back, that's putting a lot of stress on those discs, the lumbar spine, and we can cause injury when we're doing something of that nature. Next, if we're doing something like loading a laundry basket or like the dishwasher or doing the dishes, some type of object or some type of activity that we're doing for prolonged periods of time towards the ground, you can do a half kneel position. So you can just kneel down into this position and you can carry the object or lift the objects to and from this position, keeping a neutral back. We want to ensure our shoulders, hips, and knee are in a straight line, so that way we can have a nice neutral back. We're not bending at our back, and we're using our nice, strong core muscles to help us with lifting objects and ensuring that we're not necessarily bending only at our hip, because if we were kind of doing this, that would cause a lot of strain on our back, and we could have issues from doing something like that. So some tips too for when we're lifting. If we're lifting an object, and say you're lifting an object and you have to place it to the side of you, you want to try to eliminate twisting, and you want to try to eliminate like side bending. If you're doing any sort of like side bending and twisting, those sorts of movements can cause issues for our discs as well, so you can have back pain from that. So if you're lifting an object from the ground, you want to lift the object from the ground and then move your feet to the side. So you're minimizing any twisting, you're keeping your back in a neutral position, and then you can place that object on the shelf, take it off, move your feet again, and then lower back onto the ground. So we want to try to minimize any sort of twisting and those sort of movements. So if you found value from this content, consider dropping a like or tipping a coffee. It really helps support the channel. And if you're wondering from sitting for long periods of time throughout the day at your desk in an office chair, how do you get an ergonomic posture while you're sitting at your office chair? This video here talks about how you can find that posture. Check that out, and I'll see you over there.